Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface with another World of Warcraft secret, and today I'm in Gate of the Setting Sun. Now this is a video that I've wanted to do for a long time and got sidetracked and never got around to doing it. And then of course, just between us, some knobhead, right, keeps making World of Warcraft secret videos. So Blizzard, in their infinite wisdom, use these videos to plug up the holes. And what they've done is they've banned things like the Goblin Glider from dungeons. They've banned the seahorse, the seesaw, the seahorse, oh my god, the seesaw from Darkmoon Faire, and all these little trinkets and toys that were used for escaping. And Gate of the Setting Sun was one of those dungeons that you required the Darkmoon seesaw, the seahorse is now gone, to escape from. And so when I got around the other day to thinking, oh, I want to escape from here, I was like, how am I going to go about this? So I went round the dungeon multiple times. I killed certain bosses, leave certain bosses up, tried to escape from one area, tried to escape from another area. And then I decided, let's just go to the source of the issue. Let's just go to where we used to escape from, and let's see if I can do something with the Demon Hunter. Needless to say, this video is now up on YouTube, so the answer is going to be yes. Now, you can, if you want to, just go through the bosses until you get to where I'm heading, or if you're like me and you go back and forth and doing this, that, and the other, what I've done is I've cleared the bosses up to where we're going, but leave the final boss up. The reason why you leave the final boss up is so that you can use these cannons to propel you around the dungeon, because once the final boss has smashed its way in, that actually blocks off the route, because there's a part of the dungeon where you actually run across the door, the huge door that blocks it off from Town Long Steps. So that cannon is the only way to propel you to this side of the dungeon. If you don't have that, you can't proceed. You'll have to wait for the reset. So, don't kill the final boss. I know it's tempting, but leave, Brittany alone. So, this is where you would actually escape from previous. You'd go past the boss that we've now just dispatched, and when we get to here, it's all invisible walled. You can't get past. So what you would have done in the past is drop a Darkmoon seesaw, something like that, and you would have actually passed through this invisible wall. Like I'm trying to force myself. No means no. Do remember that, folks. So I can't get through that side. And then if I go to the other side, repeat the tricks. No, invisible wall blocking my way off. What should I do? Oh, yeah, okay, I'll just use the Vengeance Leap. Right, so that's this dungeon escape from. Good try, Blizzard. Never mind, maybe next time. So that is it. That is how you can now escape from Gate of the Setting Sun. Exactly the same area, apart from the leap, will actually get you through the invisible wall. Now, rather bizarrely, the Great Wall of Pandaria is the only place that you can mount up on. Nowhere else in this dungeon you can mount up. So once you get down below in Town Long Steps, or where we're headed towards, which is Kun-Lai Summit, or to the right, Vale of Eternal Blossoms, which we'll get to later in the video because that's rather intriguing, you can't mount up. It's literally only the battlement area of the wall here. Now, if I just go round, looking into Kun-Lai Summit, what do we have here? We've got some writing on the wall. I always get rather intrigued when we see some writing, and this leads me to believe that this dungeon, because all the dungeons, remember, for Mr. Pandaria were created at the beginning. They never added any dungeons. 9 dungeons came on release. That was it for the whole expansion. Cheers, Blizzard. But if you look down and see what it actually said Mantis. Now, to me, that really says this was an early build, because, of course, they weren't called the Mantis. They ended up being called the Mantid. If I'm not mistaken, they are a mantis-like race of creatures, but they actually got called the Mantid. And also, that area didn't become a Mantid area either. That actually became one of the... is it called the Yangol? Oh my goodness me, if I can remember that, that's pretty awesome. I think that became a Yangol area. Now here you can see this really bizarre cutout of the world. Kun-Lai's just cut completely out, and then you do have some of the mountains over on the far side, but they're just absolutely non-accessible. There's no way that you can get across to there. Trust me, I've tried. So if I was to fall down below, which I'll do later on, you will just literally circle around it. So why do they have that other area of Kun-Lai? Is it because there is a certain position in the dungeon where you might just get a sniff due to the view distance of the mountaintops or the mountainsides in Kun-Lai Summit? But obviously, because it's just a sniff due to the distance, the view distance, you can't see anything clearly. So all you would really see is the silhouette, and that way they can have multiple parts of it cut out. Or is it just one of these weird-ass designs which we have seen in the past in Blizzard dungeons? But needless to say, let's just run down Taolong Steps, and you can see how much detail's in Taolong Steps itself because, of course, numerous reasons. Number one, when you're on the battlements in the dungeon itself, you can see there you go, there's the dungeon. You can see for a long way, so they do actually have to have Taolong Steps, and a huge proportion of the Dread Wastes in here too, but it really kind of leads nowhere. There's nothing else apart from that. So this is all in here simply because of view distance, which is pretty incredible. Now, if I run all the way to the end of Taolong Steps, we just literally get to the cutout. If I head, which is going to be south, or actually I'm heading west as we speak, so I'm just having a little peekaboo, and then I'm looking north. I've got to get my bearings here, folks. I'm a human compass right now. There you go, look at that, cut out. So now then, if we start to head south towards the next area, we start to see some very intriguing things about this this dungeon, because we have this massive cutout part behind us. So clearly, all the area that's been cut out is surplus to requirement. It's an area which isn't necessary. This area here is an unnecessary area, but in the game. So even though we're this far down, they've still, because you can just see, if you saw to the left-hand side, I try and angle the camera, you can just see little potential snippets of the dungeon. However, if you were to jump down to this part of the map, I'm really sorry to tell you, you're stuck. So you'll have to discover creative ways to kill yourself because you're not going any further. And then if I just go to the end of this area and tilt the camera, you can see here we are at the end of the world. But look how much as well of the Dread Waste, which I'm not going to visit in this dungeon. If you want to visit Dread Waste, fill your boots. But look how much of the Dread Waste is actually out there. Now, this has been a relatively pedestrian video so far. Yeah, we've seen a couple of weird things, but it's been sort of standard fare. So why don't I shake things up a little bit? So we're going back to where we escaped from. We're on the mount, and I'm going to leap across into Vale of Eternal Bosoms. Now, the reason why I'm coming here is Blizzard have done something very interesting indeed, and a little bit ironic, which we'll get to in a moment. So just using the Demon Hunter's double jump, let's just go around some of the hillside. Look, there's some Mogu ruins down there. If you don't know who the Mogu are, they were a race of golem-esque creatures who are way more interesting than the Pandarians, but for some reason not much emphasis was put on them during the expansion's life. So we have all these Mogo ruins, which of course you'll remember from Vale of Eternal Sorrow. I was going to say Sorrows, but of course it's currently Vale of Eternal Bosoms. Now, if I glide down into the town area, or this hamlet area, watch what happens when I land. Oh. This is one massive kill zone. It's one massive concentration camp of a kill zone. There is a huge part to when I say the accessible area, Vale of Eternal Blossoms, I mean the accessible area that you can physically see. So that to me screamed if Blizzard wanted you to escape or if not wanted you, but if Blizzard appreciated that some people are going to escape from there, they'd just be immediately zapped. Which is really weird, because now if I actually head out into Kun-Lai Summit and then go to where the gate was, there's no gate here. There was no reason to put it into this dungeon. Clearly, the view distance wouldn't have picked it up, or the angle of the dungeon wouldn't have picked it up. So if it doesn't have to be here, like things like water in an instance, they don't have to put it in there. But you can walk in now to Vale of Eternal Blossoms and look, I'm fine. So there is a kill area. Think of it as a minefield. There is a minefield area of Vale. So you could play a game with each other and say, where can I escape from? And is it safe? I know it sounds a little bit like Marathon Man. If you've watched Marathon Man, if you haven't, you'd be like, how old are you as? Jesus Christ, man. But yeah, you can check to see which areas of Vale of Eternal Bosoms are safe and which are, well, mine traps, essentially. Areas where you're just going to drop dead on. Now, of course, I keep referring to this as Vale of Eternal Bosoms or Vale of Eternal Blossoms, whichever one you prefer. I prefer Bosoms, so whatever. And this, of course, is the untainted one. This is not Vale of Eternal Sorrows. This is not the Shah corrupted area. So the two Mogu statues that we passed through and used to be part of the login screen are completely intact. They're not destroyed. There's no remnants, because underneath us, of course, we have the Shah locked away. And if we head, this is heading out east now, heading to, well, a little bit southeast at the moment, but in an easterly direction, you'll notice that we're coming up towards the edge of the map, but no shrines. No Alliance Shrine, no Horde Shrine. They're a little bit further away, and they don't make it into this map. There's no need for them to be there. Again, it goes down to that view distance thing. I believe there was part of a water area, possibly. I think possibly part of a water area. It's been a while since I've been in Pandaria, because who would go back there? And then here we come to the end of the world. Looks like it's been cut by material scissors with that crinkle cut effect. So, now that we're here, let's go into Kun-Lai Summit and just have a little look at the cut-off area and head down towards the bottom, because you can see there's a heavy amount of untextured stuff down below. So we've headed out of the gate. We're now going to, again, head in an easterly direction, so you can't get lost. This area that we're just about to get to, which has like the Danish, looks like a Danish on the floor, that's part of one of the farmsteads in Kun-Lai. I can't remember which one. I gotta confess, I don't really recall many of the names of Pandaria. They were very, very forgettable. So I believe that was one of the farmsteads that I think it was the Yangol actually had control over, and there were Pandaren slaves, and you got a quest to free them, and you kind of had to wrestle with your conscience, because you were just like, why? The pandas are so useless anyway, just let them... Whatever. So if we head off into an easterly direction, we're just going to come again to the edge of the map here. And it's really bizarre to see how much has been cut out and how much is untextured, and why we have this huge untextured ravine that blocks us off between, you know, substantial landmass with Dread Wastes, Town Long Steps, parts of Kun-Lai Summit, about 3/4 of Vale of Eternal Blossoms. And then we have just all this cutout. Just literal cutout, look. Alright, so let's pluck up the courage then and have a jump down below, because it takes a substantial amount of time to actually fall. So if I was to glide, just let's play some nice music or something to kind of get an effect of how long it's going to take.
Bright eyes, burning like fire. Bright eyes.
Right. Oh, wow. Awkward. I don't think music is quite my forte. When it comes to videos like this, I think I'll stick with narration. So, let's have a look. I'm probably about halfway down on my glide. Still got plenty to go. And if you look just down below and then look over to the right-hand side as well, you'll see nothing but an untextured mass, and you can even see it sneaking around the corner of Kun-Lai Summit, and that will go all the way down through to Vale of Eternal Bosoms. But when you're down here, that's it. If you want to leave here, you're going to have to either leap off the edge and DC and fuck your game up, or you can set your Hearthstone to the shrines, whichever one you may be on, and then, of course, you can just simply come across to Gates of the Setting Sun and get yourself back to where you want to be. But there's definitely a lot of potential here, but when you're down at the bottom, that is it. No areas to climb back up from here, and as you saw how long it took me to get down, it's a hefty way back up. There is no environments for you to run up, because you still can't mount up. The spine is the only place that you can ride up and down. That is it, to the Great Wall of Pandaria. And then round this corner, it's just going to go to untextured mass all the way through to the end. And if you go down, which would be a westerly area from where you can see right now, if you went in a westerly area, yeah, you can go around the massive mountains that has, detached itself away from the rest of the dungeon, but there ain't any way of getting back up indeed. But still plenty of stuff to get yourself stuck into if you want to go into Townlong Steps, the Dread Wastes, partial Kun-Lai Summit, a little bit, 3/4 worth of Vale of Eternal Bosoms, or you could play the game with your friends. Which part of Vale's going to instantly kill me? So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links, they're in the description down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everyone. Bye for now.
Bright